Let's face it, Wilder really hasn't fought anybody. Those are the words of the Gypsy King Tyson Fury, not my words. Let's have a look at what Tyson Fury had to say here in this article. He says, if I come through this, Wilder has a chance to fight me for the lineal championship. Let's face it, he hasn't really fought anybody. He has 40 fights and it is what it is. But we're not here to talk about Wilder at all. Wilder may as well be a million years in future. I've got to concentrate on this man here in front of me. And I'm sure he wants to take my glory away from me and cash that check. I study my heavyweights. I know he's fought some good men. He's had a good winning spree, 28-0 when he fought Klitschko. Now he's talking about Pianeta. We don't really care about Pianeta. Let's be real, people. We don't give a damn about Pianeta. We know, or at least we think we know, how that fight's going to go. That should be a foregone conclusion. But in heavyweight boxing, anything can happen. Anyway, what I'm interested in discussing here is the fact that Tyson Fury said Wilder really hasn't fought anybody. If Wilder really hasn't fought anybody, why is Frank Warren saying that the winner of Wilder Fury is the best heavyweight in the world? No question. Frank Warren is acting like the winner of that fight should be universally recognized as the best heavyweight in the world. And he's kind of insinuating that they don't actually need to fight Anthony Joshua to be the universally recognized heavyweight champion, which is obviously, for anyone who's objective, is obviously absurd. Of course they need to fight Joshua. Linear don't mean you're the best. It don't mean that at all. Adonis Stevenson is still the linear light heavyweight champion. Michael Spinks was the linear heavyweight champion until he fought Mike Tyson. Tyson was already unified champion, but he wasn't a linear champion. But that didn't mean Tyson wasn't the best. He certainly proved that he was the best eventually. So Frank Warren is saying the winner of the lineal, the winner between the lineal champion in Fury and the WBC champion in Wilder is going to be definitely the best heavyweight out there. Tyson Fury himself is saying Wilder hasn't really fought anyone. How about that? That kind of contradicts what Frank Warren is saying. If Wilder hasn't really fought anyone, then how is it such a massive fight? Deontay Wilder, and I've said this before and it's certainly the truth, does not have as good a resume as Anthony Joshua. He just doesn't. He doesn't have as many belts. He doesn't have as good a resume. Anthony Joshua's got Dylan White on there, who's a top 5 contender. He's got Dominic Breazeale on there, who's also a top 5 contender in the WBC. He's got Joseph Parker, a former world heavyweight champion, on there. He's got Vladimir Klitschko on there. He's got Carlos Takam on there. Anthony Joshua's resume is better than Deontay Wilder's resume. So how can Frank Warren be sitting there with a straight face talking about the winner of Wilder versus Fury is the best heavyweight in the world, no question about it? Foolishness. But what do you expect from Frank Warren? Objectivity? You know, people call Eddie Hearn a used car salesman. Well, Frank Warren is no less of a used car salesman than Eddie Hearn is. Don't delude yourself into thinking anything else. That's the reality of it. The truth is, Fury versus Wilder is an essential fight for the heavyweight division. No question, it's essential. It's very important. But the winner of the fight still has to go see Anthony Joshua to decide who's the undisputed, to decide who's the universally recognized heavyweight champion. The winner still has to do that. Don't let anybody try to convince you otherwise, because it'd be like the Pied Piper. They're leading you somewhere that is ultimately a place you don't really want to go. They're not leading you to the promised land. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, I do have to agree to some extent with Tyson Fury. What he says about Wilder. He really hasn't fought anybody. He fought Ortiz, but who's Ortiz fought? Ortiz fought Bryant Jennings years ago. And who knows if Ortiz was juicing at the time. And other than that, he's fought nobody. So how do we know how good Ortiz is? Wilder doesn't have a good resume compared to Anthony Joshua. And Fury's resume is not that strong either. Let's be real. In fact, Joshua's got a stronger resume than Fury up until now. Fury's got Klitschko on there. Other than Klitschko, who's there? Chisora. And he fought Chisora when Chisora was grossly out of shape, by the way, as well. Well, the first time around, he fought Chisora when Chisora was out of shape. The second time around, Chisora was in shape, to be fair. He was in shape, and Fury did a great job on him the second time around. So he's got Fury. So he's got Klitschko, Chisora, and who else? I'm struggling here. Klitschko, Chisora, Cunningham. Yeah, Fury's 3 best wins. Klitschko was a great win. A fantastic win. But other than Klitschko, Chisora and Cunningham. That's it. Right? So you can't tell me that he's got a better resume than Joshua either. He doesn't. Joshua's got a better resume than both of them. So they've both, whoever wins the fight, they got to go see Joshua to then figure out or sort out once and for all who the best heavyweight on the planet is. Let me know how you feel about everything I talked about in this video, people. It's happening, I'm out.